And then you should also be able to see Steve Andrew in one of the little boxes to the side. He's waving now. If you just if you hover over that box and click the 3 dots next to the mute button and click pin video, it should just make sure you can always see Steve, because he'll be talking through some products. And then you can either have Steve as a small icon and the main screen as the presentation, or vice versa. And you should just be able to swap between the two by hovering again in the top right-hand corner, and there should be some sort of option of swap screen or swap shared screen. But if you're having any problems, just send through a message and I should be able to see it. Okay, we've got a few more people joining, but I'll hand it over to you now, Guy.
Thanks very much, Tanya. Yeah, just to say again, we've got Steve Andrews with us today from DJ in Australia. He's the business development manager there, and he is talking through Special Tomato today. The content sort of includes Buggies and also additional information on seeding solutions that are compatible with Buggies. Thanks, Steve, for making the time to present on our behalf and increase our knowledge in terms of the Special Tomato range. And I also want to say thank you to everyone that's attending today, because I know everyone is so busy post-lockdown just trying to get product to clients and yeah, just caseloads overall. So thank you for taking the time to log in. We'll be following the session with sending out an email, and within that it'll have additional information and downloads, but also we're recording this presentation, so you'll be able to review it if you want to through a link. And yeah, that's it. Please take us away, Steve.
Fantastic. Thank you, Guy, and thank you everybody who's joining today. It's to say it's your lunchtime, not quite mine yet. So I'll try and make this worthwhile for you. We've got the Special Tomato stroller range to talk to today. And so the first thing that I'll start with is you'll see from the presentation and the agenda I've got set out, is we typically ask a series of questions. I'm sure you're very familiar with questions to ask, but I just wanted to refresh the sort of questions that we would ask a family, caregivers, in selecting the right stroller that suits them. You know, you have the Special Tomato products in your range, but you also have a wide range of strollers, buggies, available for families, and we need to make sure that we get the right solution for them that meets their needs. Following that, going through those questions, I'll talk specifically to the jogger and to the EIO and how they meet those needs, and what solutions you can couple with those to help certain families. Just very, very briefly, if you saw my presentation September last year, you know, I touched on this. Special Tomato has been around for about 35 years, and Tim Bergeron started the business. He actually came from tumble forms. He's an industrial designer, and he was ultimately trying to focus on finding something, a nice soft touch material that would suit families. It was really durable, easy to use, comfortable for long periods of time. And so on that journey, he built, obviously, and as we know, the liners, soft touch liners, and that's now expanded into strollers, buggies, and a whole lot of other solutions. They're latex-free, antimicrobial, and very, very durable, and hence that's why they put a 5-year warranty on these solutions, and they put a 2-year warranty on the strollers. So a really good peace of mind with the Special Tomato range. So I just put a slide on there for your benefit, you know, of the warranty that's involved. Also, these are all handmade, by the way, these seating solutions, hand poured in upstate New York, and that's how they then keep this patent and why they put that warranty on there. But moving right along to why we're here today is specifically around strollers. Yeah, so we have questions that are really important to ask families, because there's so many different solutions that are available in the market today. So asking a series of questions helps us identify the right solution for each customer.
The TB3 rails.
So the first question that we will typically ask is, where will you use your stroller? It's a simple question, but it's a question that's really important to ensure that we get the right solution to meet their needs.
Move the seat rails forward so that
if we have using the stroller typically for city environment shopping, so going to the grocery store, off to the doctor's office, therapy centres, just a very busy sort of style schedule that we have. We need something which is lightweight, easy to move in and out of the vehicle, is compact, and therefore we'll be looking for a stroller sort of style pushchair, which is very similar to the EIO that we have here. And I'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. But if we are a little bit more active, we want to get out in the park, in the fields, things like that. We want to run, we want to keep fit, we're going over some uneven terrain, then something more like an active all-terrain stroller, like we have here with the jogger, is more likely to suit your needs. If you though need to have, we often ask questions around if it needs to be transported in a bus, to educational needs, to school and the like. Unfortunately, these two strollers aren't approved for transport in Australia and New Zealand, but we need to then consider a solution that will meet those needs as well. So they're the three main aspects of why you need to use your stroller. And the next important question that we would ask is there enough room for growth? And this, of course, is a really important question that needs to be answered. But the most important thing that we need to ask ourselves first is sometimes we put too much focus on growth for a long period of time, but we don't consider, does the stroller actually meet our needs right now? We need to think that we need to support the child at this point in time in the product. If we are looking and focus too much on growth and they only have an 8-inch wide hips, and we say, okay, for growth, we're going to buy a 14-inch wide stroller, they're going to then not have enough support within that product for several years. So we may be ticking the box of a value proposition because we've got good growth, but how are we supporting that child through until we get to that wider size capability of the stroller? So these are really important things we need to consider. Also too, not just on growth, but we also need, of course, we need to take our fundamental measurements, which I know that you all will be very, very versed in doing. Of course, when we're measuring for our strollers, we have our seat width, our seat depth, our seat to foot angle, our back height, and of course, the weight of the user all need to come into meeting specifications for the type of product that we're selecting for a family. So what type of supports are required? As I said, special needs strollers, they're designed to have an extra level of support to help the user maintain good body positioning. Much like we have in a wheelchair, the same applies here with the stroller. And we can customize that seating solution to make sure that we have their head in the right position, their trunk, lateral, pelvis, hips are in the right position, of course their feet correctly supported. So we need to identify with the family what sort of supports we need to ensure that we include in the solution to make sure that we're helping that family out. So these are all questions that we need to ask. Another important area that I also like to touch on is the options. And sometimes we look at options as a little bit of a nice to have. But ultimately, if we are asking the right questions and understand our family well, we will find that some of the options are very, very important both to the user and to the caregiver. So making sure that we spend time asking the right questions around these solutions ensures that we provide a really good experience for the family going forward. a shopping basket, sometimes I've heard people say that's a little bit of a nice to have, but I'm sure we all agree that a nice shopping basket on the bottom of your stroller, really meets needs around carrying a lot of those medical supplies that we quite often need to carry with us, personal hygiene products and other items that are needed throughout the day. These are items that we can't expect the caregiver to be carrying around on their person. So having a really good shopping basket, that's why in many cases with Special Tomato we call it a medical necessities basket, because ultimately that's what its main purpose is. Also canopies. Canopies are really important for certain types of users. They, of course, we immediately look at it and we say this provides protection from sunlight, and of course it does do that. That's its main purpose. But what we find with many families, with many users, is this also assists when they're out in other environments, which they can be very sensitive to. They could be sensitive to the fluorescent lighting systems that you find in many shopping centres. They can be quite harsh and disturbing for many children. They also can be, when you're in a large crowd in certain environments, this can be very difficult for lots of users. So canopies can start to provide a cocoon environment to support a blanket, or I'll talk about in a second, a rain cover, to ensure that there's a nice, safe environment for many users in those environments, particularly when they're sensitive, to these sorts of situations. So, asking questions for the family, these are really critical to make sure that they're getting the best use out of their stroller. And finally, adjustable handle height is something which quite often we don't consider in many cases. But this is really important for a caregiver to have flexibility when they're using their stroller. There's quite often multiple caregivers of different heights that are using the stroller. And when we think about the environment that they're in, these strollers take up to 40 kilo for a user. The stroller themselves can weigh 10, 12 kilo, plus anything that's stored underneath. Sometimes there's also a bag on the back. When we think about that, if we're pushing 50, 60 kilo around for periods of time, we want to ensure that we're in a good ergonomic position for the caregiver so that they're not fatigued and don't have stress throughout their day, that they've got an environment that's easy to push the stroller through. So these sort of considerations are really important when we have different people utilising the product throughout the day. So there's some of the questions that we go through. Does anybody have any questions for me at this stage before I go into the products specifically? Does that sort of make sense? All good? Okay. So as I sort of said, now ultimately I'll talk specifically how the products meet these needs. And I'll start off with the jogger, because quite often the jogger is, we quite often go straight to the strollers, but we're finding that the jogger is a really popular solution in Australia, and I thought it'd be important to start with this today. This is really for that busy family that's looking for a, predominantly an all-terrain stroller, but as we can see, it has a really good flexible rotating front wheel. It makes it very easy to manoeuvre through lots of environments. It is lightweight, and it does support mild to moderate support needs. One thing that's relatively unique with a lot of strollers is that it actually has a suspension system built in. So really good for when you're going off-road. You've got a suspension system on both wheels at the back here. If you're going over difficult terrain, it will start to assist. Also, of course, if you're jogging, makes it a lot more easy and comfortable to use. And then you have a front locking mechanism here, which locks the front wheel into place so that if you are going over very bumpy terrain, it is very easy to manoeuvre and will handle a straight line really well. So the jogger is a really nice little solution from Special Tomato. It's very good value for money. Yeah, as I said at the start, it has a 2-year warranty, so a really good peace of mind when you're investing in a stroller of this value. It has, as I said, the front 12-inch swivel wheel, which is also a quick release wheel as well. The quick release mechanism here on the side. You can actually then take this front wheel off if you have it weighs 12 kilo, this stroller. So it's nice and lightweight, 12 kilo stroller, the jogger. Quick release wheel here on the front, so you can take that off if you're trying to fit it into a tighter location. It has padded upholstery, so really nice padded upholstery here. So nice and comfortable to sit in the stroller, which is also very removable, that we can unclip and throw straight in the washing machine to keep it nice and clean. It includes an 8-point harness. So a nice special Tomato 8-point harness that you should be familiar with. It's on most of their products. A nice pelvic 3-point positioning belt. The chest harness with a 4-point and a 5-point connection in the middle. So a really nice adjustable harness, adjustable at all points to ensure you got the correct fit for the individual. As I said, it's got the rear suspension, which is great for travelling on off-road and in the parks. It's got a footwell here with side guards on it as well, so your feet are nicely supported inside the stroller, giving you a nice little cocoon environment in there. And also too, it includes a sunshade. So a lot of strollers don't include, or buggies, I think you like to refer to them. It actually includes a really nice little sunshade, which is adjustable. You can have it in different positions. You can lock it into place. It also has a really nice window as well. You can see through, just ensure that everything is nice and safe. And it also includes a little storage basket at the back, so we can put some of our valuables in the back here as well. That's all included with the jogger as standard. One of the things too, which is really important, and I'll demonstrate for you now. As a dad of a couple of kids, this is probably the thing I'm always most nervous about, is trying to fold a stroller. Always one of the things that I struggle with. You don't need to remove the front wheel if you are in a hurry. You know? So if you're in a hurry and you want to fit this in the boot of the car, you don't need to take any wheels off. You can if you wish to, but if you're in a hurry, you don't need to. Just on the side here, there's a clip on either side that we just press in, and then the stroller folds on itself into a nice square shape, which, as we know with a lot of vehicles nowadays, whether it be an SUV or whether it be a small sedan, they do have a nice wide boot opening on most vehicles, but they're not particularly deep. And this allows us to fit the stroller in into most vehicles without too much challenge, and also to be able to put our other items beside it in the boot. To open up, really simple, we just grab the handle and it's in place. It locks automatically into the spot. Move our seat back down into place, and we now have our jogger ready to use for the day. So one easy fold mechanism, also easy to open as well. So one of the questions we spoke about before was, size. And as I said, this has a 14-inch wide seat. So if my child is too small for the jogger, then how can we then ensure that we get good growth from this stroller? And what we can do here is we can actually change the seat width from 8 inches to 14 inches by using the liner system. So I've actually got some sitting here on the chair. I've got a separate set here now. So the size 1 has an 8-inch seat, the size 2 a 10-inch seat, and it goes up from there. So you can use this to provide a nice supportive seating system inside your jogger stroller. The liners provide nice additional lateral support to make sure that we're keeping our body in a nice upright position. We do have the harness that feeds around as well to keep our shoulders back. We do have a really nice seating position here, which provides really nice support for the pelvis, and a small little pommel here as well to keep our pelvis in the right position. They include straps to attach them to the stroller, and of course the harness will feed straight through into the seat. But if we're out and about and we're off to a friend's place or something like that, we're off to the cinemas, things as such, we can always take these out, we can put them on a chair, and also have a nice supported seating system for our child when we're visiting friends, when we're out and about, if we're on holidays. We have a solution to make sure that they're sitting correctly when we're out visiting somewhere, with the harness and everything provided. So that's a really nice little solution. As I said, we can then adjust the seat width to make sure we've got really good positioning. And then as we grow, we can take these out and we can grow all the way up to a 14-inch size in the seat. If we then think, okay, my child needs a little bit more support, then that's where the sitters are a really nice solution. If we want to take it up to another level of support, the special tomato sitters fitting inside the strollers now provide additional head support. As we see from the pictures there, got a really nice little head support here to keep our head nice and upright. We've got some lateral support, but then we also have a really nice strong pommel, nice strong sides here to keep our hip in the right position and to be in a really good, so this is an 8-inch. So we're seeing now in a 14-inch seat, we've got a really good position for a child to make sure that they're well supported. And the stroller, of course, as they grow, can go all the way up to 14 inches. Again, as I said, we've got straps provided to clip it to both the stroller and also to, these, to the cinemas, if you're off to the movies and stuff. This is a great little way to attach to the cinemas or to a friend's place. The size 1 sitter comes with a single strap. It's only a small seat. When we get to a size 2 and above, we have an additional strap down the bottom here to mount, to secure the hips into place, to make sure that it's well secured within the stroller. So again, the sitter comes with an 8-point harness as well as the stroller as well. So you've got a lot of flexibility there also. So specifications, is there any addition for the footwell to support the feet when you add the sitter? Well, absolutely. We do have some solutions there, and I'll touch on that right now for you. I've got some options. Actually, I'll touch on that in 1 second after this slide because I've got an option slide for you. So really quickly on the specifications, because these are really important to make sure that we're meeting the measurements that we took earlier on. So we've got a 50 kilo weight capacity in the jogger. We have, as I said, a seat width from up to 14 inches and a seat depth of up to 12 inches. We have adjustability in the crotch strap as well to allow for growth, which is really important. Again, we don't want to have a situation where we're putting somebody incorrectly in a larger stroller. So we have growth through the bottom here to be able to adjust the crotch strap, I can't say that word today, in multiple positions to ensure that we've got a really good fit and we've got the hips locked into position. So we can go from 7.5 to 11.5 inch depth. We've got a sit back height of 25 inches, so allowing plenty of growth. And similarly with our shoulder straps, we've got adjustability through the back of the cushion here to ensure that we've got good positioning of the shoulders at the right height to make sure that they're sitting back nicely and comfortable within the stroller. The footwell is 15 inches. The handle height before, as I mentioned before, in the jogger, there's little clips here on the side. We can go 8 inches of travel here. to suit different caregivers to make sure that we've got really good ergonomic position. Now, I don't want to be pushing a buggy in this position. I want to be pushing a buggy where I've got my elbows bent and I'm actually making the most of, pushing what, as I said, could be 50, 60 kilo in total around during the day. The seat recline range is from 100 to 140 degrees. So there's just a little clip at the back here that I undo, and the seat will actually push back into a recline up to 140 degrees to a period of rest here. It is an adjustable strap, so I can lock that into any position anywhere in between and have that as my most favourite position. So I can move through those at any time. So the overall dimensions of the product is on that slide as well. So we go from, was it 26 to 40 by 42 by 43 inches. So quite a square shape, as I said, when the jogger is folded. And as I said, it folds on itself. Nice and easy, so you don't need to sort of lift it and put it into place. The jogger, as you see here, weighs 12 kilo. And and you can take the front wheel off to make it even smaller again to fit into most units. I've got a picture there of the medical necessities basket as well and how that fits under the product. So coming to your question before around adjusting the footwell. So we usually just use on the jogger different blocks. You can get, it actually comes with the EIO. You can get it as an accessory, as a little foot block, and that can clip around the base of the stroller. And this can then adjust the footwell length. So you can have different heights as the user grows. And you also too, depending on their needs, you can also get just a nice little head support as well. You can get the one from Special Tomato. There's lots of different solutions like this as well, with a little clip. And then throughout this upholstery, you'll see there's a whole series of different holes that you can position the head strap through. So you can adjust that back height, different positions as the child grows. So that there hopefully answers your question. You've got the bolster and you've got a head support. You've got the medical necessities bag, as I said, is an option with the jogger if you're needing to take around a whole lot of solutions with you. The rain cover, so that's something which I wanted to touch on for both the jogger and the EIO. As I said, if we have a child that is susceptible to some issues in large crowds and things like that, then we see many families using the fitted rain cover that clips around the top and around the base of the unit, uses that to support a nice cocoon environment. It doesn't put pressure then on the child in the stroller. You can also put a light blanket, it'll hold a light blanket over that as well if you want to darken the environment. But then you're not putting too much pressure then on the child in the pram, but they're in a nice environment if they are susceptible to some challenges when they're out and about in public in certain environments. Other things that we then also work with families, of course, and caregivers important. We always should be keeping ourselves hydrated. So having a nice Crocker cup holder on the handle is always useful to have that on the stroller so you can get access to water or any drink that we need. And then, of course, we've got our mobile phone holder and the small bags as well, which all will work on the strollers and on most of your other products. The advantage with the Crocker, of course, it's got a locking mechanism that will hold this in place. So we can lock that in place so you can't actually take it off without unclipping the catch at the back. So if you've got some valuables in here, they're nice and safe, locked into this mechanism, and you can't actually take it off the unit. You can't take off with your mobile phone, and it's always close at hand. So that's the jogger. Have I missed any questions with the jogger as we're sort of moving along? All good? Okay. So that's the jogger. I'll tuck that over here, and if there's any more questions at the end, I can answer them. I folded that, covered off suspension, so I think everything's covered there. If we have any more questions at the end, I'm more than happy to cover those for you. So the EIO is obviously our main stroller. It's the most popular stroller that we have with Special Tomato. And that's really because it has, it meets a lot of needs, but also too, it includes a lot in the base price of the unit. So it's, it's got that mild to moderate positioning support, but also it's lightweight. It's only 10 kilograms, this stroller. And as you can see here in front of you, it includes everything that you can see on this demo unit that's in front of me here today. They're very comprehensive. It has, again, a 2-year warranty, so a really good peace of mind for the stroller. It has the 8-point harness again. So we have our 8-point harness, similar to the jogger, adjustable at all positions, including the pelvis. A really good canopy. So you can see here, in this unit here, the canopy which is adjustable in a lot of different positions. We can click it through and bring it forward, again with a nice viewing window up the top. Includes the shopping basket. As we can see on the bottom of this unit here, nice shopping basket, large shopping basket to put all your medical necessities in, all your hygiene products and the like when you're out and about. It has a reclining backrest, which we have on this demo unit here. So you can recline through any of these positions, depending on what is comfortable for the user at the time. And coupled with that, you've got an adjustable footrest, which, as you can see, will move through multiple different positions from, I think it's 15 degrees to positive to 55 degrees laying down. So you can be in a very comfortable position with your legs actually raised and be in a really good period of rest. Now, the EIO also includes a lot of supports. So I'll show you just here. This is just the support itself. There's 4 different ones of these supports. They Velcro attach to the stroller. As we can see, we've got, just making sure we've got good light. We've got good positioning here. We've got they position around the hips and also around the laterals. And then that's supported by a padded headrest as well. So that's all included with the EIO, along with that foot bolster, which I've just decided to put somewhere. That foot bolster, which is adjustable in the footwell as you grow also. So that's all included with the EIO. It's also compatible with the sitters, which I'll talk about in a second. And again, when you're folding this, this stroller, you don't need to take the front wheels off. You can do that. I'll quickly sort of show you. You can lock the wheels in place just by pressing. You can actually use your foot on this. It's really nice and easy. And then there's a little button here which allows us to take the wheel on and off. So very easy to transport. And the rear wheels is just a button that you press in the back that takes those wheels off. But ultimately, you don't need to take the wheels off when you're folding the unit. With the EIO, there's 2 flaps here on either side. And that then uncovers the mechanism. And there's a little clip. You lift those up, and the EIO folds on itself. And the EIO has a little clip on the side so that we can put it easily in the boot of the car. We can also move the footwell down if we wish and get that out of the way. So we've got a nice compact little unit. So that's the EIO folding mechanism. Very easy one touch again. So again, just answering some of those questions that we went through at the start of the presentation. You know, I need to bring lots of things with me I need lots of storage in my stroller to ensure that I can carry everything that I need. I touch on the medical necessities basket that's here on the bottom. But we also too have, just as I showed you here, 2 little pockets that we can put things like water and stuff in on the side of the stroller to be able to carry those around. That's all included in that upholstery. And again, you've got another nice big little section here at the back to be able to put some of your valuables in as well. The next question, obviously, and this is, comes up very frequently, is that I don't want to put my child in something that looks medical or institutional. And Special Tomato says that this is a sleek European design. As a dad, to me, it just looks like a stroller that I use each and every day. And I think that's why we're finding that this is such a popular solution, because it meets the needs of the child with really good support, but it does have a really nice, good look and feel about it. As I already went through, but just to reiterate, when we're going out for a walk, my child likes to fall asleep, we do have the recline feature built into the EIO, but also too, that elevated footrest is what really can make a difference to ensure that you're getting a really nice position of rest in the stroller. So that can really make a nice difference to ensure that they're comfortable and getting really nice sleep while you're out and about. Will there be enough room for growth, and also that my child needs more support? Well, again, I know I'm repeating myself a little bit, but again, with the EIO, just like with the jogger, we can accommodate 8 to 14 inches by using the liners again that fits in the back. One thing I will touch on, I didn't with the jogger, but I will with now the EIO, because I work with both. The Special Tomato now has a new little seat, which is called the Hip Flex seat, which I'm holding here in lilac. And this is a traditional seat in cherry. They're available in 4 colours, but more importantly, we want to see the design of the seat. So this is a new Hip Flex seat. As you see, they call it like an active living hinge built into the back of the seat. So this style seat is only come out in the last sort of 6 months, mainly to support another solution they have called the recliner support system, but also for the stroller where we have children that like to sleep in and recline in the stroller, then they can of course have a level of support, but also it will give them a little bit more give when they're lying back in a period of rest. Okay, so that's the hip flex. But if you want to make sure, as always, you have really good, strong pelvic positioning, then this traditional seat, which doesn't have too much movement, is always a popular way to go. So just touching on that. And of course, if you wanted more positioning again, high level positioning, the sitters fit within the stroller. Also adds a bit of colour, because both the jogger and the EIO just come in this one standard colour. So we can add some colour with the sitters as well and use these when we're out and about at friends' homes to ensure that we've got good positioning. One thing I didn't touch on, but I will, is that these little bolsters, which as I said are removable, they effectively will bring the seat width as narrow as 9 inches as well. And of course, they're only a very mild level of support, but depending on what the family's needs are. They are obviously just one Velcro and removable, and you can take them out, but they will reduce that seat width from 9 to 14 as well. So that's all included with the EIO. So specifications, as went through, is typically will cover a user's height from 76 to 127 centimetres tall, a seat width of up to 14 inches, and a seat depth of 12 inches, a seat back height here of 24 inches for that padded headrest. The seat to footwell, it goes up to 13 inches. And then we've got lots of adjustability, as I said. with our adjustable handle at the back here for our caregiver, different heights. Also, you can probably see here a lot of adjustability through the back here for the harness. So we make sure we've got correct positioning and adjustment of the harness throughout that stroller. Again, down the bottom here as well. And also through the pelvic positioning as well. So a lot of adjustment there on the EIO. Anything I've missed? So the recline will go from 25 to 75. So a really nice recline on the stroller. And again, those folded dimensions will get down to a really nice box shape of 24 by 43 by 20 inches. And a maximum weight capacity of just on 41 kilo. So 41 kilos we can pop in this stroller. And it itself only weighs 10 kilos, so very easy to maneuver and put in the boot of the car. So there aren't a lot of options for the EIO because, as you can see, it already includes a lot in the base price. But it does, again, have that rain cover, and I've got a picture there on the presentation. And I think that probably best encapsulates what I was talking about around having that nice cocoon environment for certain types of individuals when they're out and about. Again, we can use the Quokka range as well to suit the caregiver so that they've got those things on hand to ensure that they can, they've got everything that they need for their day. So I'm almost at the end of the presentation. I just had a couple of quick slides to touch on for the liners while we're here, just so that you're aware of the liners themselves. I mean, these liners, and I'll touch a little bit more on these in 2 weeks' time. But the liners here will go from an 8-inch seat all the way up to a 16-inch seat. They're size 5 now and available in 4 different colours. They are really easy to transport. They clip together to take out and about. You can take them to restaurants and to classrooms and put them obviously in different, not just these strollers, but of course in any type of stroller to have that additional support for the user. The cushion includes a 3-point harness. The pelvic position is really nice and clipped in. And as I already touched on, there's the new hip flex cushion where they want to be in a position where you're allowing flexibility if you want to recline the body in the seat. So that's the liners. They come in that lilac, there's a cherry, the aqua, and the dark grey. And then the sitters, they come in 3 colours, and again 5 sizes from an 8-inch seat up to 16, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 inches. Portable and easy to transport. They've got the 8-point harness. They've got a really big built-in abductor here at the front. So you've got really nice positioning for the user locked in. They're all made of this soft touch material, which also too, the sitters, they have this little, I'll be able to hear that. There's a little valve at the top allow for heat to dissipate out of the unit, so it keeps the user cool. But also too, they repel antimicrobial and the like. Also, they've got the contour head supports, and these are very, very popular because they're also used with mobile bases and with mobile activity trays for use at home as well. So just in conclusion, just key information I had on this next slide, just to sum up the really important things that I went through for the strollers today. A 2-year warranty on the EIO jogger and the stroller. So both of these, 2-year warranty and 5-year warranty on the sitters and the liners. Really good value for money where you've got years of growth that takes you from an 8-inch to a 14-inch seat. So, we can estimate anywhere up to 10 years. And as you can see, both these solutions include all the bells and whistles that you effectively need to suit your day-to-day needs. They both have a recline feature as well, so with padded seating, so you can have a really good environment to fall asleep in while you're out and about. And as I sort of said, really large wheels, you know, like this EIO. I don't think I mentioned it. Just check out the wheels on the EIO. They've got 4 big wheels, swivel casters in front. For direction, they can be locked in to go straight as well. So it'll go over all terrain as well. So they're not little wheels on the front and big wheels on the back like a lot of strollers. 4 big casters, so nice and comfortable to move around. And as I said with the jogger, it's got the inbuilt suspension at the back as well, if you're a little bit more active in that environment. So I can't sort of see if I've missed any questions. So I think I've answered most questions that are there. You know, I will be presenting again in 2 weeks' time around a lot more solutions, as you can see, in special tomato for seating. So if I have made this worthwhile, then hopefully you'll join me in a couple of weeks' time where I'll go through the comprehensive range of seating that Special Tomato offers.
Thanks, Steve. Yeah, and thank
I missed, Guy or Tanya?
Oh no, I think that was really well covered, and you also helped to explain how many features are standard in the product, and that you, in the base price, you don't actually need a lot of accessories to make the gear work. Well covered off, and yeah, thanks for your time. Thanks also to everyone that's logged in for the webinar. It's always good to have your support, so much appreciated. Any more questions for Steve at this point? I think you're good, Steve. You've covered it all. If you do have any further questions, you've got your local BTMs, account managers from Allied to help you out. If you're unsure who that is, 0800 316181. That's 0800 316181, and we'll put you through the right person. We're going to send out a mail shortly, and it'll also list how to contact us. So thanks again for your time. Mel, I'm your local BTM. So you can come to me on that one. And the next session with Steve is Thursday, the 2nd of July at 1 p.m. And that's special tomato seating solutions, as you can see in the image there. Tanya, back to you.
Yeah, I think you've covered absolutely everything. So yeah, we'll get the email out and we'll include this presentation as well, and a bit more information and downloads for everyone.
Woohoo! Good session.
Great, thanks so much, Steve.
Well, thank you, everyone.
See you, Steve.
Be safe.
See ya. Bye.
Bye-bye.